The Vegas Golden Knights are against the wall, but I am here to tell you why you should be positive. It's the triumphant return of the Chris and Chris show on Locked On Vegas Golden Knights.
Your Locked On Golden Knights, your daily podcast on the Vegas Golden Knights, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Cheers, little buddy. It's our first Locked On Chris and Chris show. And I don't know, I feel like you were about 6 years old last time we did it, and you're about 2 feet shorter, and you hadn't scored any goals in your house league yet. So here we are, everybody. This is a special Saturday Chris and Chris edition of Locked On Vegas Golden Knights. My name is Chris Golick. I am a day one season ticket holder of the Vegas Golden Knights. I'm also the collectibles site editor for the Hockey News, owner of Silver State Cards and Sports. And there's little Chris over there who's been to many, many Vegas Golden Knight games. He is a hockey player himself and a hard worker. So here we go. It's the Chris and Chris show. I am here to tell you why we should not be worried about the current situation the Vegas Golden Knights are in as game 4 of the opening round is upon us in the next few hours or so. So, Chris, how are you feeling about the Golden Knights right now?
Game one was good, but a loss these next 2 games, I don't know. I think Vegas pulls away lucky today, but
not see the positive part on the show, young man. We're supposed to be positive. Keep going.
Fine. I think they honestly pull away today, but I think
you think the Minnesota Wild pulls away today?
Whatever. I think the Golden Knights will win today.
You think the Golden Knights will win today? Wait a minute, hold on. Now we're changing here. So did I convince you that the Golden Knights might be in a better spot? What are you saying, little buddy? What do you think?
What I'm saying is the Golden Knights today, but I think after today, it's the last time the Knights will see glory this season.
Ooh.
I think it's over in 6. I think it's over in 6.
Calling the Wild in 6, but the Golden Knights get there today. We'll do our official locks of the afternoon and predictions. Tony sent me the snail mail version of his locks and predictions, so we'll get those as well. I might be on an island, no spoiler alert. I might be on an island. So I've been digging around some stats here about the series. So number one, we're not going to pretend the turnovers didn't happen. We're not going to excuse Shea Theodore. We're not going to say McNabb's had a good series. Like, we're not going to put a bow. We're not going to make anything positive out of that. The positive is that they can be better. We've seen much better versions. Shea Theodore, we've seen him play a much more responsible game. And Brayden McNabb has been the best pound-for-pound Vegas Golden Knights defenseman since 2017 when the team first started. So we're going to get better versions of them some point in this series. It better be today. So, Chris, here's a couple stats I want to talk about. One of my favorite stats to look at are the high danger chances for and against. And basically, high danger chances, Chris, is what it sounds like. It's a good scoring chance. Of course, a good scoring chance yields a better chance of scoring a goal. So far through the series, the high danger chances for and against are very, very close. They are 28-30 for all situations. So that includes power play, PK, everything. They are 28-30 in favor of the Minnesota Wild. So each team has had about the same number of high danger chances. Now, what that tells us is the Minnesota Wild are doing a better job saving their high danger chances. The Golden Knights are not. And just because it's a high danger chance doesn't mean it's not a scoring chance. We've seen some rough turnovers and stuff, of course, that are not high danger chances that still lead to goals, mainly, of course, for the Minnesota Wild. One more stat that I'm not a big advanced stats person, but this is something that caught my eye today. There's a category, Chris, called expected goals, XGF, basically. XGF or XGA. It's expected goals for, expected goals against. So again, it's basically all these mathematical formulas based on shot locations, who's shooting, how many points they have. It's just a very hard for us to figure out, but we're just going to trust that the website Natural Stat Trick is on the ball with that. And according to Natural Stat Trick, again, if this game was being played maybe on paper and not in real life, the Golden Knights would actually be slightly leading in goals in the series at 9.62 versus 9.33 goals against. So, Chris, when I tell you some of these stats, you told me earlier before we started the show that the Golden Knights were cooked. All right, that was your statement. You said they were cooked, not me. This is
Because they are.
Tony's been talking to Chris on the phone a little bit here. So when I tell you some of these stats, though, Chris, does that at all maybe make you feel like this series maybe isn't as bad as it's been at least?
Eh.
Why? Why? Keep
I
talking.
don't
I'll
know.
drink my coffee. Keep talking.
I don't know. The Wild just been looking really good lately, and honestly,
Are the Wild looking good or are the Golden Knights looking bad?
both, whatever, both.
Okay, no, and that's fine. Keep going.
But I think if both teams keep playing like this, it's over. It's over in 5.
Okay.
But Vegas needs to win these next 2 games if they want a chance at winning the series.
Yeah, I do like that perspective, Chris. You don't want to go to game 6 in hostile territory trailing 3-2. That would be extremely tough for the Vegas Golden Knights to bounce back from it. That said, the Minnesota Wild, I was looking, I was chirping some Wild fans. Let's call it what it was. I was chirping some Wild fans, and I believe the Minnesota Wild, if I'm not mistaken, going back to, I think they started in 2001 as a team. They've won 4 total playoff rounds since 2001. And I mean, the Golden Knights won 4 playoff rounds in the 2022-23 season. Of course, they've won many, many more playoff rounds outside of that. So my point is that the Minnesota Wild haven't had much success as far as postseason goes. Their coach, John Hines, who I didn't give a lot of credit to early in the series, and I think that was probably not accurate. I should have given him more credit because he has done a good job. I think the Wild are doing some things differently that the Golden Knights didn't expect. Coach Cassidy felt this was going to be a predictable series after game 1. He made some post-game comments that alluded to as such, and then the Wild maybe played, I don't know if it was an unpredictable game that caused the Golden Knights to have all those turnovers in games 2 and 3, or if it was just the Golden Knights falling apart. But don't you think, Chris, there's a much better version of the Golden Knights that we have yet to see in this playoff series?
Yeah, if they find a way past round 1.
Sure, but to get past round 1, Chris, they have to play better. They have to. I mean, remember, we're talking about the Pacific Division champions here. This is a different team. Of course, there's been a lot of moving parts in the offseason. Jonathan Marchessault, Logan Thompson, Mike Amadio, Alec Martinez. Congrats to him on his retirement. Can't wait to see if he stays involved in hockey or not after this. Saw a great video with him and Pat Maroon sharing a moment. It was both their final games in the NHL, and they were both in tears and stuff. You got to just appreciate what they both did for the game respectfully. But Amadio, Alec Martinez will carry a march. So Chandler Stevenson, Logan Thompson. There was a lot of questions about where the goals were going to come from, if the goaltending was going to hold up. And through the regular season, all those boxes were checked. Dorofeev, Brett Howden, even Keegan Kolesar had some just nice breakout seasons. Of course, Tomas Hertl, Jack Eichel, Mark Stone did a good job as far as having just outstanding seasons. And then you look on the backside, Shea Theodore, when healthy, had a very good year. Pietrangelo was up and down. Noah Hannafin got better as the season went on. So the point is, to me, Chris, is this is a good Golden Knights team that is just underperforming right now. And I said after game 1 that I felt the Minnesota Wild were much closer to their peak. And the Vegas Golden Knights still could get a lot better. Of course, the Golden Knights have gone backwards in these last 2 games, but with what we've seen, we're talking Stanley Cup pedigree, coaches and players on the ice. We're talking about a pretty good team in the regular season, Chris. Haven't I convinced you that at least the Golden Knights should be better than how they've been playing in this series?
That definitely. If you compare what's happening now to basically the rest of the regular season, it's like, what's happening?
What do you
Like,
think is happening, Chris? So why? So this is a question that every Golden Knights fan I have, the coaching staff, the players, like this is the important question. So, Chris, why is this happening? Why are the Golden Knights all of a sudden not playing to their potential? What do you see?
uh,
What do you see? I don't have an answer, Chris. I'm just asking like what your perspective is when you're watching the games. What do you see differently?
honestly, no. Honestly, I haven't. Honestly, I should watch the highlights from game two, but I haven't seen the
You didn't
highlights
miss
from
anything
game
in game
two.
two.
I
You missed
watched. I
nothing.
watched. I watched game three. I saw the Wild's first. I saw the Wild's first couple goals, and at that point, I saw like what was happening, like turnovers, everything. I decided to give it up and go wrap my brain on some video games to clear all the stress through my mind that was going out.
Golden Knights win a game. Stop stressing out my son. Come on. No, I'm with you. And Chris, game three, I watched somewhat passively. Like I watched the first period closely. Second and third, I watched while I was doing your hockey draft actually at the rink. And it is a different team right now. And playoff hockey, Chris, we've been to a lot of playoff games. We've seen the difference of playoff hockey and regular season hockey. There's less room out there. There's sometimes just uglier goals instead of these nice transition goals and 2-on-1s and 3-on-2s and stuff like that. There's just these kind of gritty, dirtier goals, some traffic in front and such. And I think my feelings is the Golden Knights haven't necessarily adapted to playoff hockey or something like that. There's concerns about Eichel and Mark Stone both being injured. I felt they weren't getting enough minutes in the first two games, and Coach Cassidy heard me, and I think Jack Eichel and Mark Stone were leading the team in minutes in game three. And honestly, game three was better than game two. I mean, anything was better than game two. Golden Knights were in game three, at least, a little bit longer into the third period. You felt like they had an outside chance to get back in it. They had a power play to try and make it a one-goal game in the last 4 minutes, I believe. So there was definitely chances. You saw the Golden Knights getting closer to their identity. For me, I just don't see. I mean, looking at some stats here in the postseason, sustainable. That's a buzzword around here. Are what the Minnesota Wild's top line, is it sustainable what they're doing? Kaprizov 7 points, Boldy 6. Joel Eriksson Ek is on that line. He has no points, oddly enough. So it's the Kaprizov and Boldy show. Outside of that, Hartman's got 3 points, Foligno 2, Rossi 2, and a bunch of ones after that. So what players, Chris, here's an important question for you. What players on the Golden Knights do you think should be responsible for slowing down the top two players, not even the top line, the top two players of the Minnesota Wild, Kirill Kaprizov, and full credit to what they're doing, by the way. I'm not knocking them at all. But what players should be most responsible for slowing down Kaprizov and Boldy?
Honestly, I think Eichel and Stone should be at the top of that responsibility, but I think like most of all the defense should be in that. But I would definitely say that Eichel and Stone should definitely be the ones watching it stopping him the most.
I'm with you on Eichel and Stone should be, yes. The problem is Eichel and Stone are both -5s, meaning they've been out there for 5 more goals on the Minnesota Wild side than the Golden Knights side. Also, Jack Eichel and Mark Stone, 0 points in the playoffs to the 13 points of Boldy and Kaprizov. That's a major concern right now. For me, I think this needs to be an older school type of hockey frame of mind in tonight's game. Old school hockey is not matching fire with fire. It's not putting top line against top line. It's putting the fourth line out there against the other team's best line. And it's the energy line. It's the Brett Howden, Nicholas Waugh, Keegan Colasar line, trying to take away time and space and playing a tight checking game. On the defensive side, dude, we've been all over Alex Pietrangelo for the regular season. He hasn't been that good, right? At least on paper, it doesn't look like he's been that good. But you know what? In the postseason, Pietrangelo has 1 goal, 2 assists. He's also a +3. And considering the Golden Knights have been outscored 5, 10, 13, 13-7, I believe, if my math is correct. Stay in school, Chris. But 13-7, Pietrangelo is a +3. So Pietrangelo, he's averaging 21 minutes of ice time. This might be the game you march out Pietrangelo and Hannafin, and they get like 26 minutes of ice time. They are out there anytime Kaprizov and Boldy are out there. And then the fourth line for the Golden Knights, the Nicholas Waugh line, is just trying to wear down Boldy and Kaprizov as best they can. To me, I think that is the key to success in tonight's game. So that, Chris, we're going to go to our second segment. We'll be right back with our locks of the afternoon and predictions. New graphic. You like that, Chris? Was that fun? All right.
What just happened?
What's that?
What just happened?
No, nothing. We're good. We have new toys. All right. So we kind of clued maybe what some of our locks and predictions were of tonight. Tony has mailed in his locks. He is saying this game is going to overtime. He is predicting a 4-3 victory for the Minnesota Wild. Tony is not believing. Tony says Barbashev and White Cloud will factor in the outcome of the game for the Vegas Golden Knights. So, Chris, maybe you might have flipped. You might think the Golden Knights got a chance today. What do you think?
I already think he had a chance in there, but honestly, I think we have a new longest game of the year. 3-2 Vegas, 4 overtimes.
4 overtimes? You said 3-2 Vegas?
Yep.
4 OT. What 2 players, Chris? What 2 players?
Eichel.
Eichel?
Eichel.
Eichel. I said Eichel is just going to be the man today, which is fine too. Yeah, and Hertl's another one who's been a little quiet. I mean, he had a really good actually he was okay in the home games, and then in the road game, I think, is when things didn't go well. But Hertl had that great goal in game 1, created the turnover, and then I think that was the first goal of the game, if I'm not mistaken, little man. All right, so for me, hashtag positivity, also a book by Poker Pro Phil Hellmuth, 5-1 Vegas Golden Knights. Listen, I'm believing in the team right now, all right? I am believing in the team. I'm believing that this is a division winner. I'm believing that this is a team that we talked about all this depth. Unfortunately, it's kind of quieted down. But the depth on display, I think Coach Cassidy will be able to out coach John Hines in the most important game of the year, Chris, at least for the Vegas Gold and the Minnesota Wild, right? I mean, this game can flip the script entirely if the Golden Knights win. If the Golden Knights win this game, I honestly think the series might end in Minnesota on Game 6. If the Golden Knights lose this, the season is virtually over, especially if they get blown out. If it's a crazy overtime game and they come up short and play the right game, well, so what? Then, whatever. But 5-1 Vegas Golden Knights. I'm on the Pietrangelo train. I think he's having a great series. I'm going Petro and Hannafin. I'm going with I think they are the keys to tonight's victory. Pietrangelo and Hannafin first in shutting down the Kaprizov-Boldy tandem, not the line, the Kaprizov-Boldy tandem. And then, yeah, we'll see if they can contribute on the offensive side as well. Any final thoughts on tonight's biggest game of the year, Chris? He's a man of little words, folks. That's little Chris. My name is Chris Golick. Thank you guys for checking out the Locked On Vegas Golden Knights YouTube special Saturday edition. If the Golden Knights possibly drop this game, be on the lookout for a Sunday emergency edition of Locked On Vegas. There'll probably be a Locked On VGK either way on Sunday morning. Again, make sure you check out Locked On Golden Knights anywhere you catch your podcasts and on YouTube. Please drop a like, a comment, and a subscription. It's subscription. Do all the kids say drop a sub, or is it a subscription, Chris? How are we supposed to say that? You're cooler than I am. You watch much more YouTube than I do.
Depends.
All right. Okay, that wasn't very good. Okay. Go click a bunch of buttons when you watch the podcast. It helps the show grow. We do greatly appreciate it. For Tony Cordasco, who is wondering when Sanders will get drafted, in the NFL draft, for little Chris, Tony's future replacement, and for myself, Chris Golick. Thank you guys very much for watching the Saturday special Chris and Chris show of Locked On Vegas Golden Knights. Big game for the Vegas Golden Knights today. Hopefully the Golden Knights can find a path to victory and get back in the series. Have a wonderful Saturday, and please take care.